Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make DIY crystal trees from Dollar Tree Christmas trees. So this is a pretty exciting twist on this common YouTube video that you see with everyone making different crafts out of the Dollar Tree Christmas trees. They're very versatile, but I'm very sure you have not seen this craft project before, so I hope that you stick around and watch this process. Main supplies that I got from the Dollar Tree are these Dollar Tree Christmas trees in both white and in green, and they come out of the box. You want to fluff them and make them look like a tree before dipping them in your water solution. So here's the recipe for borax crystals. 4 tablespoons of borax for every cup of water, and you bring that to a boil. Once that is boiling and the borax is suspended in the solution, you just go ahead and take that tree and hook it up to some sort of wire frame. I had this cross frame from the Dollar Tree. Cover that pot with a towel, let it cool down overnight, and then the next day you reveal this magic. You will not believe your eyes when you pull this out of that pot and see how many crystals form on this and how beautiful this really is in real life. So here you can see that I'm going to use this clay that I got also from the Dollar Tree in their crafting section. And this is what the tree looks like before and after being dipped in it. It's just really incredible. I'm just trimming off some of the edges here, as well as some of the branches that weren't in the crystal solution at the bottom of the tree. Now you can see me adding some pipe cleaners just to add a little bit more to the root system when I add the clay on top of all this. This clay from the Dollar Tree air dries, so this is a really nice product to use, and I'm applying it here to the metal frame and also to the plastic frame as well to make it look more like a trunk and a root system to the tree. This dries overnight, you're going to see that there is some cracking, especially along where the trunk meets the roots. So what I did is I went ahead and added some hot glue around the tree just to actually give it some more stability and strength, so that when it's moved and such, you don't have the clay pieces cracking and falling off. So I glued a lot of that in place and reinforced that in the edges. Now you can also add color to the borax solution when you're making the crystal. This one I added red food coloring to the mix, and it made this kind of pinkish crystal formation, which is really quite nice. I also did some on some pipe cleaners so that I could add in some more branches, just because I felt like this tree was not as full as the first one. Some of the pipe cleaners I wrapped around the stems that were near the bottom, and some of the pipe cleaners I glued directly to the trunk of the tree. And now that I've finished that up, I'm going to go ahead and add that same clay that I got from the Dollar Tree and make a trunk similar to what I've done on the first tree that I showed you, on both the green tree that I've dipped and also the red tree that you had just now saw me working on. Again, you let those dry overnight, and then they're ready to be painted. So the green tree I went ahead and added a gold paint to, and then the 2 white trees, I started with the base on those with a white chalk paint and covered them completely in the white chalk paint. And then I also have this antique wax paint from the Folk Art as well that is really nice, that I used to go ahead and accent the tree to make it look more like a birch tree type of trunk. And for a few tips for painting, I used this band brush for adding the details to the tree trunks. I think it worked pretty well to add that kind of birch tree appearance. I went back and forth on the white trees, and on the other tree that I painted gold, I went up and down to kind of simulate the pine bark that would be on a pine tree. here's how these pieces turned out. Now you can stop here, but I went ahead, I had some different pieces of wood that I had laying around in my craft supplies that I tried to make a little bit more realism with. I mounted them onto those wood boards using E6000 and hot glue, and then added a little bit of moss and some paint to that to make it look like snowy rocks and moss and such. So I thought that added a nice little touch. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that this gave you some good inspiration on what else you can do with those Dollar Tree Christmas trees.